What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so of course we all know now that the Phoenix Suns fired Mike Budenholzer after just 1 year as the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. His firing comes just 1 year after his predecessor, Frank Vogel, was fired after just 1 year as the head coach of the Phoenix Suns. And then, of course, before that, Monty Williams, who took the 2001 or led the 2021 Suns to the finals, was fired. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Phoenix Suns owner, the leadership, management, whatever you want to call it, but it's ridiculous. Scapegoating NBA champion coaches and coaches going to the finals on account of these loser players. So anyway, Bradley Beal, who is the epitome of putting up big numbers on bad teams, reportedly fumed at Mike Budenholzer when Mike Budenholzer asked him, according to Chris Hayes, I think Chris Hayes reported this. Mike Budenholzer reportedly asked Bradley Beal to play more like Jrue Holiday. Now, a lot of these headlines are saying that Bradley Beal was asked to play like Jrue Holiday, and I think that's being taken out of context. I think what Mike Budenholzer probably meant was, could Bradley Beal play a role similar to Jrue Holiday in the offense, and which is basically more off ball, in some ways direct the offense, and focus more on defense. You know what I'm saying? And Bradley Beal reportedly said something to the effect of, "Don't ever disrespect me like that. Don't ever disrespect me. Don't ask me or compare me with another player or ask me to play like another player, etc., etc." And you got the usual suspects like Gilbert Arenas, who never won shit, defending Bradley Beal, saying it's disrespectful for a player of Bradley Beal's caliber to be compared to Jrue Holiday, blah, blah, blah. Let's pump the brakes here for a second. If I'm not mistaken, right? If I'm not mistaken, didn't the media, excuse me, didn't the media treat Jrue Holiday like that huge championship altering piece when he was reportedly floating around after the trade that sent Dame Lillard to Milwaukee? Remember when the Boston Celtics got Jrue Holiday, everyone was saying, "Oh, that's the championship right there," which is pretty much exactly what happened, right? Now you're trying to tell me he's just some role player. He's just some role player who, ain't really amount to much or nothing. He just Craig Hodges or some shit. He's Darryl Walker, who was a bad player himself. When I look at Jrue Holiday, I look at the missing piece for a championship team when it came to Milwaukee Bucks. He was a serious upgrade from the point guard they had before. I forget his name now. What was it? Eric Bledsoe. Big upgrade from him, right? They won a championship. Then he goes to Boston. And what happens? They win a championship. So to be compared to a two-time NBA champion, if Bradley Beal thinks that that's an insult, then that tells you his mentality. Guys like him only care about putting up numbers. Their quote-unquote brand. You know what I'm saying? But, guys like Bradley Beal just go around stealing money. We heard the reports for years that the culture of Washington was so fucked up. You got guys making money, not really committing themselves to the game, not really caring about winning. Who do you think they was talking about? People like Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying? How is it an insult to be compared to a two-time NBA champion? How is that? You haven't won shit. This is the same dude that said, I proudly have not been swept in the playoffs. You haven't been in the playoffs. Do you know how many huge moments Jrue Holiday had from the Milwaukee Bucks over the past couple of years? What, 3 years? I think Jrue Holiday was playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. Jrue Holiday has quickly, over the past 4 to 5 years, cultivated a resume, especially if he wins another championship, that's honestly, at the very least, borderline Hall of Fame worthy. It ain't like he's going out there averaging. Now, I don't know his numbers now because Boston is so deep. But when he was with Milwaukee, this guy was still going out there giving you 17 points. You know what I'm saying? He still get you like, I guess, 5 or 6, 7 assists a night. Great defense. You know how many tremendous defensive stops this guy had? But that's the thing. Bradley Beal don't have the discipline to go out there and take the challenge of, you know what I'm saying, filling in that cog role, filling in that role that is needed for a championship team. He don't have the intestinal fortitude to do that. He don't have the heart and grit to do that. He's one of these typical, entitled, overpaid asshole players who like to throw coaches on the bus when shit don't go right, but want you to praise them all day. I ain't doing that shit, and we shouldn't do that. Then they throw coaches on the bus, championship coaches. Does championships even matter at this point? Seems like it only matters with certain players. It's more about stats. It's just disgusting, man. This dumbing down of the sports culture is pathetic, man. It is pathetic. He didn't get it done in Washington when he was playing with John Wall. Russell Westbrook gets there. What happens? The guy who everybody says is you know, in the media, who everybody says is a cancer in the locker room. All of a sudden, Bradley Beal has the best season of his NBA career, and all of a sudden, it becomes Russell Westbrook's team. All of a sudden, Russell Westbrook supposed to lead his team to the playoffs, which ultimately he did. Did he get any credit for that? Nope. Did Bradley Beal come up and say, look, Russell Westbrook's a star. I understand, you know, people are looking at him as being a leader, but I'm also a star on this team, and I share some of that responsibility of leading. Nope. He gladly, just like LeBron James, let Russ get all the fucking heat while he lay back and put up points and, you know what I'm saying, don't get any smoke for losing. Just like now, he'll get no smoke for losing. People covet this guy right now. You know, will Bradley Beal waive his no trade clause? Why? For what? What you getting from him? What you getting from him? Another 30-something-year-old bad back, overpaid athlete whose best days are done. They ain't gonna win shit. Give me 1,000 Jrue Holidays. 1,000 of them over these clowns. He's too good to augment his game. We were just talking about Chris Bosh. That's the hardest thing to do. Chris Bosh augmented his game, his body, his role. He worked on his weaknesses. Chris Bosh literally worked on his weaknesses and had to endure the media taunting without any actual public support from you know who. But he ultimately overcame all of that, and at the end, man, he became a good, dependable 3-point shooter, a clutch performer. Uh, Became a pretty good, honestly, a decent, a pretty good perimeter defender. He lost his ability to rebound because he lost so much weight, but he prevailed. Earl the Pearl Monroe augmented his game. Earl the Pearl Monroe was the premier one-on-one player in the NBA. And ironically, he played for the Wizards back when they were the Baltimore Bullets, right? He could have had the Bradley Beal mentality. He could have just said, F it, this ain't going to work in New York. You know what I'm saying? When he got traded and maybe forced to trade somewhere, whatever. You know, the players didn't have the same power they have today. But he took on the challenge because people say it wasn't going to work. Earl Monroe is a one-on-one guy. He's all about himself. He's not a team player. Well, he won a championship in 1973. It worked. He took on the challenge. This right there tells me everything I need to know about Bradley Beal, man. And that's why it didn't work. And that's why a lot of us knew it wasn't going to work. Because you got a loser mentality in this guy, a loser mentality when it comes to Devin Booker, who, by the way, has regressed. And we already know about KD. So anyway, I don't care how many coaches they fire. Who they ain't gonna be able to hire nobody. You think they go coax Phil Jackson to coach his team? It ain't gonna matter. It's the personnel. Man, that's all I got to say about it.